There's way more of them than you can ever count on your 10 fingers and toes. But look at how God looks at those that he loves, though they're still in the miry pit. Behold, you are beautiful, my love. Behold, you are beautiful. Your eyes are like doves behind your veil. Your hair is like a flock of goats. Imagine that. Leaping down the slopes of Gilead. Your teeth are like a flock of shorn ewes that have come up from the washing, all of which bear twins, and not one among them has lost its young. Your lips are like a scarlet thread, and your mouth is lovely. Your cheeks are like halves of a pomegranate behind your veil. Your neck is like the Tower of David, built in rows of stone. On it hang 1,000 shields, all of them shields of warriors. Your 2 breasts are like 2 fawns, twins of a gazelle that graze among the lilies until the day breathes and the shadows flee. I will go away to the mountain of myrrh and the hill of frankincense. You're altogether beautiful, my love. That's the one that actually gets me. There is no flaw in you. Mamela, you are absolutely flawed. But why would the Lord say there is no flaw in you? It's because he is foreseeing your incorruptible body, that which he is now pursuing you to ultimately give you later on. It's so loving. You're altogether beautiful, my love. There is no flaw in you. Come with me from Lebanon, my bride. Come with me from Lebanon. Depart the peak of Amana, from the peak of Senir and Hermon, from the dens of lions, from the mountains of leopards. You have captivated my heart, my sister, my bride. You have captivated my heart with one glance of your eyes, with one jewel of your necklace. How beautiful is your love, my sister, my bride. Look at that contrast. As children of the living God, we are sisters and brothers, but we are also the bride of Christ. It's just perfect. How much better is your love than wine, and the fragrance of your oils than any spice. You feel it's a guy than any spice. Your lips drip nectar, my bride. Honey and milk are under your tongue. The fragrance of your garment is like the fragrance of Lebanon. A garden locked is my sister, my bride. A spring locked, a fountain sealed. Your shoots are an orchid of pomegranates with all choicest fruits. Henna with nard and saffron, calamus and cinnamon with all trees of frankincense. Myrrh and aloes with all choice spices. A garden, fountain, a well of living water, and flowing streams from Lebanon. Awake, O north wind, and come, O south wind. Blow upon my garden, let its spices flow. And that's where I shall end over there. That is God in his description of his love for the church, in his pursuit of the woman, in his pursuit of the bride of Christ, in his pursuit of the human being, in his pursuit of your soul, in his unrelenting love until you meet with redemption. That is God. The way you're at, murky and miry, and then make you hate your former murk and your mire, and cause you to see and fathom that future for others enough for you to evangelize them even when they're giving you grief. So it's why I do the work that I do. And this work also recovers me from the sorrow that I feel all the day and all the night long. I'm not just going to linger in a most sorrowful state, because I am loved by a God that considers me beautiful and without flaw. Though I know I'm not all that beautiful, and I know that I'm not flawed, but nonetheless I am seen as such, for the Lord regards me and gazes at me in the way that he will see me in eternity. And that for him is all that matters. Thus, what murk I am covered by today becomes nice and irrelevant. This past week has just been event upon event. You will remember how the last video that I did, I spoke about how my mom opened dialogue and she was speaking to me with an attitude. Because she, frankly, is the one that just stopped talking to me. Random mistreatment that was what's the word that I'm looking for? It was uncalled for. Just random barbaric mistreatment of my person that was just utterly and comprehensively uncalled for. And it lingered 4 whole months because some beast wants me kankane as a wife. He tried to cause my family to kick me out and make me a homeless person. That didn't happen. But one day it just got inebriating, taxing, and exhausting to treat me like I'm no one amidst them all. So she opened dialogue with attitude at first, but the festival of repentance has been attended. She ultimately, over the days from that initial attitude, did a 180 altogether, and recovered to who she used to be. Well, not entirely, but by who she used to be, I mean before she just went all this awry. And all this happened as a result of maintained prayer, maintained patience, maintained holding fast, and thanks to this level of excruciating attack on my person through my family, my mom finally, even though she was selfish enough to make sure that I'll go nowhere for the rest of my days and take she finally has let me go, to a point of saying in herself, if she wants to move overseas, then let her go. She's the one even that said that South Africa is not quite cutting it for you. You don't like it here. Why don't you try and see if you can't go overseas? She finally let me go. There was a time when she was actually talking about how it is that I can't, when I'm like, woman, I'm old. And so much so has she let me go that she and my older sister, everybody is now actively trying to help me move. What I'm trying to get at right now is that when I am in the diaspora, I will not be alone, having fled from my family. I will be accompanied to the airport by them, and I will be in active communication with them for the rest of my life. And they will understand that if they want to visit, they can visit, and I can always come home at any time. It was their suggestion. I did the research, however, and I found the institution through which I wanted to get the certification, and my mother paid for it. And that's why I attended training on Saturday. I told you that I am willing to do this whole teaching English online, but then when I was doing my research, I came across an organ, and the reason why I wanted to do it online was because I was not prepared to move to Vietnam, and I was not also prepared to move to Cambodia. Essentially countries where I felt like my life as a Christian would be harder. But then one day I found, you remember in the last video I said that if it's from God, it's just gonna smooth flow. It's going to move like it's going to move like river waters, going through valleys and meadows, the way that it's just such a smooth flowing stream. There will not be any resistance anywhere. It's just going to work. It's going to fit like a hand to a glove. It's just going to move. And first I tried to apply online on Preply, but it was exhausting me. The website would not let me get in. The website, because I wanted to do online. I figured that I was going to find my independence by going online. My mom was like, why don't you move to, you can try to move to some Asian country, and I was like, I don't want to go somewhere where I'm persecuted as a Christian. And that became like the impasse that we had reached. So I knew that I was gonna study. I wanted to do something online. I spoke about that in my last video, that I would teach this English online. Whatever I need to do, I will do it online. I tried to apply at Preply and even Cambly or whatever. Cambly, of which apparently that did not need a TEFL certificate, and Preply did. And I didn't have a TEFL certificate, which is like some certificate to enable you to teach English abroad or online to people that are non-English speaking. Some places need a degree, others you don't. While I was trying to apply at Preply, nothing was happening. The website was just crashing on me. I couldn't get in for some strange reason. I just could not open the website. I couldn't open the website. So then I go on YouTube and I give up. I go on YouTube and I watch something. Whatever it is, that is the thing that I'm watching. Perhaps maybe I, at this point, was I doing? Was I eating dinner, or was I just going through something on YouTube and just feel like it's not getting? And then an ad comes on, and I don't usually watch ads. I skip past them so fast. I don't care. But guess what? An advert came on that I made a decision. An advert came on, and for some strange reason, I left it to just run its course. I just listened to this ad, and by the time the ad came almost to a close, I clicked on the link on the ad, and it led me to the website. And the website that I landed at was the TEFL Academy. And I came to learn on their website that they are one of the best TEFL schools in the world. Not only that, their accreditation is recognized in the UK, and listen to this, the US. It was on an Easter special, 60% off or something, and it was time sensitive, and the Easter special was already over, but they had extended it by like a couple of days. And my mother had made the recommendation a couple of days ago that why don't you try and teach English online? Not online, but overseas. I wanted to go online. I didn't find this TEFL website. I think it's legitimate. I send her the link. I read up, I read. I finally come to a conclusion that this is it. This is like, I'm getting a certificate through this organization. Well, I'm gonna try, but I don't have money. Somebody's gonna have to pay for me over here. But since she's the one that recommended it, my mom, that is, I then send her all the details, the information. I put it in an email, and I'm expecting her to still ask me a whole bunch of questions. I told her that this year is time sensitive. She only had a few hours left before the special ends, and I sent this email to her at night when she was sleeping, maybe wee hours of the morning. And I told her that by the time she wakes up, there's only going to be 16 hours left. Usually when it comes to such things as these, my mom is like, do everything. Don't make me do admin. I will do the finishing touch, whatever it is that is my part. I will play it. If just tell me, like, must I send me the details, the banking details, or I'll send you the money, but don't make me do it. When I send her this, she in herself was so excited about the idea that she did something that she has never ever done for me ever in my life. Actively do everything for me. And when I woke up, I was actually getting emails from her that were forwarded to me, with her telling me you're gonna have to now go in the website and change the email address, that the emails might come to you directly. But I've opened the account, I've registered on your behalf. She did everything. My mother has never done that for me in my life before. She was quite negligent when I was growing up. She has never been so keen and so interested in enabling something of mine for the future that she would do everything. This year I was expecting to do everything myself. All I was expecting from my mom was the money, and then I would then register for myself and everything. I was expecting that I would register for myself and everything, but she did yonke into such that I when I got out of sleep and I did my routine to read my emails and my WhatsApp, expecting her to say to me, I cannot tell it, it's too much money, wada. Dude, I rather came across emails and a WhatsApp that was, it's done, just change your email address, take it on from here. So my mom did everything, and I'm registered with the TEFL Academy for this online course, and I was really excited. I even cried in the bathroom on some, oh my goodness, it's happening. It looks like I'm gonna get the certificate. All that this is a certificate, it's not a job. It's not a job. And I go on the website, it's all looking very exciting. It took, because she's the one that registered for me, it took a little bit of a minute. I had to like log a support ticket to finally get access to my dashboard, the actual course that I might start it and whatnot. But this thing happened so swimmingly with me. I went to the training, I get it, 10 hours. And I came to learn when I got there that there are some people that are already done with the course that are now only just doing the training. So it was a pivotal time. It was instrumental. It was providential for me to go before I even started, to go and meet, in particular, the group of delegates that I went to go meet. And listen, almost every last one of them are going through the exact same thing that I'm going through. And it made me realize what in the world is going on in this country is bigger than just my own unique situation that's nice and snacks. On Thursday, it's Sunday now, that's when I was officially enrolled. Saturday was when I went for the training. Okay, the payment and everything happened on, I believe, Tuesday. There were technical issues because of my mom being the one to open the account, and so the system was confused. I logged support tickets. On Thursday, officially I was enrolled. On Friday, and also earlier, I had received an invitation to attend the 10-hour booking course, whatever thingy, and I was invited quite early on it, whereas quite a few students, like I said, were already kind of finished with the course or halfway through or whatever, and I got booked like immediately on it. Though the slots tend to fill up quickly, I got the one year this Saturday and I went. Okay, so the technical issues were already eradicated by Thursday and I had access to the dashboard. I haven't yet commenced. I'm gonna start pretty much from tomorrow. So all this work that I'm doing here, this amount of work, like all this beefy work, I'm not going to carry on like this. I'm not going to carry on like this anymore with my content because I need to focus on that. So I'm only going to do, like when I do these videos, just to basically give myself comfort, I'm only going to do maybe like 2 or 3 hours once a week, and that's it. And focus on the studies. I have to keep up with ministry for the sake of just maintaining this level of transparency so that my testimony can be recorded. But I have to focus on ministry. So I spoke for more hours than I would have appreciated. I wanted it to be succinct, short, and get to the point, but I struggled to do that. However, I'm going to force myself to do it. I'm not going to work this voluminously anymore. At least not until I'm over a certain hurdle. And besides, listen, this here is emergency mode. The way that Kisibazanga thing, I'm not going to maintain it. It's going to end. I'm not going to do as many shorts as I've been doing, like the hundreds of them. I'm not going to do like 14, 15, 16 part series. Maybe I might do one video a day if I wanna, just to basically share my experiences and what I'm going through, or once a week do like a 3-part series and that's it. But I'm not going to maintain this trajectory, otherwise I will not get anything done. It's too much. There's too many edits involved. It takes up, listen, almost all my day for me to do umsebenzi ona. Though people don't appreciate it and neither regard it as work, it's taking up too much. I do want, of course I've got preferences. I would love to have a monetized YouTube channel, music, but I can't do that. So therefore I'm going to focus on that which is going to set me free for today, and then tomorrow, next year, like proper, like I'm going to focus then on things that I want to chisel and hone and fix up and tweak and essentially improve, because they're going to be my career in the future. I intend to do covers on YouTube Music. Listen, I intend to do that. I also intend to bake, cook. I intend to do ministry that, however, is not monetized. That's always going to be a thing. I have got business ideas as to what I want to do with my life, because I will never go back to corporate. This here is a means to an end. It's a stepping stone, and it's going to get me out the country. But it's not what I'm going to do indefinitely. I might love it. I probably will, because I have it in me to teach, but I don't think I'm going to stay in it. However, it is my ticket out of the country. It's a means to an end, and it is going to go through a bridge from what I understand. Remember, I wanted to be online. I said I was going to teach English online. I don't want to move to a country that might persecute me. And the ones that were being presented by various links that my mom was sending me, I was like, listen, I'm not going to Vietnam, and I'm also not going to Cambodia. I'm not going to Thailand. I'm not going to. I don't want a Buddhist nation. I don't want a country that has got a reputation for treating Christians harshly. I don't want a nation that also has got government rules that prevents proselytes and proselyting. I don't want to go anywhere where the government hates evangelists and a government hates proselyting. Like a government that refuses the evangelism of people, where I can't talk to my colleague, my friend about God and it not be dangerous to me. I also don't want to live anywhere where I will post stuff online and have my stuff brought down, have the government breathe down my neck, have whatnot. I need to have freedom of religion and expression, and a lot of Asian countries, which all these people travel to go and teach, are like that. And while you can live quite comfortably in like China, as somebody that's teaching English over there, if you are irreligious, if you're an atheist, if you are like a whole staunch, hard-knock, Bible-believing Christian, you're going to also be driven underground. Why would you want to go there? And I've endured so very much. So definitely China is not on the cards. Definitely countries like, I looked up Cambodia and whatnot. I spoke about that in my other video. I said that I can live anywhere because I need to get out of this country, but I cannot live anywhere where my life is going to be made harder as a Christian than what it is that I'm presently enduring. And South Africa is apparently a liberal country. I apparently have freedoms over here. The government would never ever knock down my doors and arrest me for what I say on the internet. But look at what they're doing to my YouTube channel. It's ridiculous. They're acting like they're not a deep state. They're acting like they are free in terms of their religious rights, but just look at the way that I'm living. Look at how disenfranchised I've been because of my faith. Look at what has happened to my life. I'm not going to go to a nation that is either secretly hostile towards Christian or outwardly. South Africa is secretly hostile towards Christians, but the other nations that I looked at are outwardly hostile. And I was like, listen, I'm not doing any of that. So I wanted to teach online and stay in the country because I didn't want to put myself in a worse territory, because I understood that God was taking me to the US. I understood that with every bone in my body. And the US, while it has its issues, is certainly not going to break down a door for something that I posted on the internet. Okay? And it's one of the most liberal countries on earth when it comes to the faith. And it's the one country that God has shown me I'm definitely moving to. So because it's God's will and God's plan, I'm running with that. And I want to go there because, listen, I love the country. Okay, but then listen, you don't just go to the US, you don't just enter in there, you don't just wallop in there, you don't just dollop like some mayonnaise on a sandwich into the US. It takes quite a lot. And if at all I'm going to be living there permanently, there's got to be something that's going to make the nation willing to take me in permanently. And I'm pretty certain that I'm not going to be permanently relocated to the US because of marriage. I'm not going to get a green card because of some boy that I'm with. It's going to be because of work. And I told you guys that work is going to be what causes the US to take me in. I said it in my content, and I couldn't understand how in the world that would even happen. I did not understand how in the world under heaven that would even happen. And the reason why it was important for me to go in the United States, to go to the US finally, end up there, is that I've been taken for granted for so long, and I've been treated like trash for so long by so very many trashy people who can treat anybody like trash in the street that they meet, that God did not want me to ever be in a situation where I would have insecurity about a man's motives where I'm concerned. Never mind a man's motives, but a man's viewpoint of me, like just an underestimation of my person. Like, listen, you only want to be with me because I'm American and you want a green card. Like, I cannot go to the US through love. I can't go there through marriage. I can't go there through a guy. There can never ever be any shadow of doubt, even in the slightest, that I was there by the volition of God and by the volition of my own ambition and by the volition of the country to keep me there for their own purposes and for their own reason, just to scoop me, usurp me, and take me as their own. And not because some man made out of me a US citizen. And I say some man with somewhat a disrespectful tone, because I've endured quite a lot at the hands of men, but I'm pretty certain my husband is not going to be that some man that I now have US citizenship because of. No, I am going to become a US citizen, independent of marriage. That is what God showed me. So it's essentially going to be from the volition of my own hard work. And I don't know how under heaven that's going to happen in a most like record speed, enough for me to get married, have children, and all that jazz. But God is arranging all of these things for me, and I have trusted him blindly without understanding how it's gonna give, because it don't look like it ever can. It doesn't look like it ever can, right? And yet, according to the Lord, it does. It is what's gonna happen. And I could not have fathomed how he's gonna make it work. But remember, I told you that years ago I had dreams of seeing a whole bunch of what I thought at the time of dreaming about them when I was still working at MTN, Chinese people in my dream. It will be only now that I'm in 2026 and what's happening is happening, that I realized that they were not Chinese, they were Korean. I realized that it was Korea, but I never would have automatically assumed it was Korea, because the most proliferated in terms of our understanding and our knowledge of their inner workings Asian nation from South Africa is China. They are the one Asian nation that we know the most about. So therefore, when I see people that look like that in my dream, I automatically assume Chinese as opposed to Korea or Japan. I always just think Chinese. But well, God now has shown me that it wasn't China that I was showing you, it was South Korea. Well, I would reach that conclusion, yeah, South Korea. And Mamela, look at how the Lord has gone before. You all know, if you listen to my content with any level of consistency, you know my love for South, you know how much I love South Korea. You know how much I have frankly kind of lived in their culture. I have mad respect for it just based on TV alone. Shows on Netflix that I used to watch that made me really like South Korea. And also politically, just the fact that they're so involved in extracting suffering, persecuted, most horrifically devastated defectors out of North Korea into their country, and they immediately just give them citizenship. It made me just love the country that is South Korea because of the work that they do in order to help North Korean defectors, be they Christian or not. I've listened to many testimonies on the internet of North Korean defectors that moved to North Korea. No, South, okay. Oh, say that again. I've listened to many a testimony of North Korean defectors that moved to South Korea and how significantly different in a positive light their lives were. And it gave me a mad respect for South Korea. And the thing that introduced me initially even to that humanitarian feat by South Korea was the persecuted church of North Korea. And there was this one story of this one pastor that was from South Korea, whose job was a very dangerous job at that, to help North Korean defectors get out of North Korea and enter into South Korea. Those jobs, that job, that I feel there aren't enough such people that are trying to help North Korean people defect out of the country. There is a very strong compassion inside South Korea for North Koreans that defect. They give them immediate citizenship. They don't even beat them around the bush. They don't check anything. They're like proper, and they have to get acclimated. They get taken through classes to help them live in an urbanized civilization that is just bustling. And that thing that South Korea does, that section, that humanitarian effort on the part of South Korea for North Korea is what caused me, even in the first place, to have any kind of intrigue about the country. So frankly, long story short, I have mad respect for South Korea. Though, about a year ago, recently, not a year, like just a few months ago, there was like some story about this one South Korean pastor that was arrested for what appeared to be espionage by the South Korean government. And I was like, what's going on? Why is South Korea going awry? Why is South Korea going awry? I also watched this one South Korean like K-drama show on Netflix some time ago. I've watched quite a lot of K-drama shows, and like I said, I have mad respect for what's going on in South Korean shows because they are not crass. They're not as violent as other Asian productions coming out of Japan, coming out of China. They have an adoration for modesty. They have an adoration for essentially all the principles that I have as a Christian, just as a society. And that for me is huge. And of course, when it comes to Christendom, I was watching this one South Korean show, one of the K-dramas that I've watched before. And when they were busy talking about God, the girl there, the female love interest, mentioned, I don't go to church, but my mom is the one that goes to church. And I was like, church? Are you going to tell me that when South Koreans speak about religious affiliations, are they like South Africans in the sense that their main religion that they default into when they're talking about God is Christianity? I came to discover that church for South Korea is quite common, more so than other nations that are, for instance, Buddhist largely, or communistic or irreligious or whatever. It is a democracy that is, I can't say Christian entirely, but there is enough church for, in South Korean shows, it to be mentioned that I'm not such a good girl because I don't go to church. And I'm like, you're talking about church from South Korea. Are there that many people going to Christian church that believe in Jesus? And I heard the name of Jesus mentioned in a lot of South Korean shows with people actually attending Christian churches in K-drama. That made me realize that South Korea is a country that has got a decent, healthy population of Christians. And I was like, listen, that's it. It's a lovely country, but never in my life did I ever fathom I would move there. It was not, it did not dawn on me that I should go there, especially considering I don't speak the language. I'm not Korean, but I mean, I am an English speaker, and they need teachers over there that can speak English. So the TEFL Academy in particular has jobs that place people in the diaspora and among the countries that is richly frequented by graduates of the TEFL Academy. Among the nations that are richly frequented, richly considered for application is South Korea. And I did not choose South Korea. Understand? I didn't choose it. Remember I told you about the dreams of the Chinese people that I came to learn are not Chinese but Korean from long ago? The Lord always showed me that I would end up in the US, but he also always showed me that there would be a transition through a country to get to the US. And that transition, I have come to conclude, is South Korea. Why? Because after the night when my mom paid for everything and I was all happy that, oh, that's, you know, she did what she repented. That night I went to bed, I slept. That morning, I've got these weird hours. I went to bed, I slept, and in my dream, I got this mammoth like billboard type flashing SEOUL, and shortly after that I woke up. I just saw Seoul, and I know where Seoul is at. It's in South Korea. I just saw SEOUL, and I was like, Seoul is in South Korea. After my mom paid for my enrollment with the TEFL Academy, the Lord gives me, prior to me waking up so I can remember it, since, you know, to make sure that it's like fresh at the surface of my brain, I saw a billboard flashing Seoul, and then I wake up. I'm like, whoa. When I woke up, I was so excited because I've been studying South Korean. I can't say that I've been studying South Korean culture the way that I studied American culture, but I certainly know more out of all the countries in Asia about South Korea than anywhere else. Well, and China too. But only reason I know something about China is because who doesn't know much about China? And secondly, they are persecuting the body of Christ. My understanding of nations tends to be inspired by how they relate with the body of Christ. So if at all the country is dastardly towards saints, I'll know about it. And if the nation is the biggest haven for Christians, I will also know about it, because I study the body of Christ. I study my kingdom. I love where my people are at and my people. So South Korea has been instrumental in the whole Christian thing, and it's also cleaner in terms of its entertainment. And I like that they don't take prisoners when it comes to feminism. They just don't have any time for that. They don't have time for disregard of the patriarch. They don't have time for disregard of female roles. They don't have time for disregard of the importance of the nuclear family. They're not woke. They just don't have time for any of that. And who doesn't want to move to a nation where it's nice and refreshing, where family still respected, where, I mean, have you watched K-drama? Have you watched K-drama before? Like, the way that men and women relate in K-dramas is old school. It's that sweet chivalrous thing. It's not giving Snow White where the woman expects that the guy that's gonna kiss her out of eating a poisoned apple must first ask for her consent. Like, there's no woke trash. It's full on good old-fashioned boys and girls. This is how they relate from history. It has not lost its traditional male and female role thing. The culture frowns on this feministic spirit that has no regard for men. So where men are respected patriarchally, there's also not going to be a whole bunch of effeminate boys popping out of the closet. Do you understand what I'm saying? Claiming that I like me some boys, I like me somewhat. Like, I thoroughly blame the effeminizing of our men on the loosening of the pretty much this unisex bathroom that I just spoke to you guys about from that hotel in Rosebank, Southern Sun. When society starts to loosen, when society starts to blur the lines between men and women, it causes fetishistic desires on the part of naughty human beings to experiment with looser textures. And for me, it's like, what are you doing? Like in South Africa, you be out looking at content creators on YouTube painting their fingernails and they're men, but they claim that they're metrosexual or they're progressive. I'm like, I'm sorry. First you start painting your fingernails and then next thing you're kissing your friend in the club. I can't. Next thing you are out here claiming, oh Tamba, to be going to go and see way that you might play a video game, Ganti, you're going to make out. First it starts with you painting your fingernails. I cannot deal with a man that has Q-tex, dog, like my male. I don't even paint my fingernails because I think it just takes a lot of time. And then as a man, just put your hands on a counter and paint your nails. I mean, that level of carefulness, it's just too much for men. It's too much. And there are certain cultures in this world that get stuff like that. That get that men should not paint their fingernails or their toenails. That get that, like, listen, men are men and women are women. And South Korea, that's like a whole thing. It is frowned upon culturally across the board, from the youth all the way to the oldest of people, that men are men and women are women. And a country like that, you're not gonna go there and happen upon a unisex bathroom where there's no division between men and women where you can't even figure out whether this is a girl's bathroom or where you can't figure out if this is a boy's bathroom or a girl's bathroom. And from what I understand, apparently Asian kids, which much of this teaching of English is going to be for, but sometimes you also teach adults, but Asian kids are very, very respectful in a way that, yes, they like African kids that way. They like African kids. It's just that in my particular South Africa, there's like a lot of insanity, but African kids are quite respectful as well. Frankly, it's their parents that bite. I can't really fault African kids on anything. They can take discipline, they can take yes and no. Mara, our loose government in this country, South Africa in particular, I can't speak for other African countries, our loose government that has given the Department of Education in our country, that has given all these loosenesses and whatever's in schools and have essentially taken away the rights of teachers in favor of the rights of children, have made kids lose their minds, and now they're killing each other in schools. That's happening in South Africa. It never used to happen. The kids can be disciplined, but when our government just loosens all these restrictions, it gives little authoritative power to teachers, such that they now frustratingly are just quitting their jobs, or they are having to deal with a lot more than they would on a regular day with other kids. If at all, you as a teacher have to rely on the disciplined gene, if you will, inside children, that they will respect you by mere virtue of you being a grown-up, and you can't instill discipline in children. You just have to hope that they will respect you. Yo, that's just a cauldron, a pot brewing for anarchy in the school. There has to be consequence management that makes all kinds of sense in schools, and South Africa has lost that. It has lost that. It has lost consequence management on the part of teachers. It has lost consequence management on the part of teachers, and has given just whole-scale, unfettered power to children. And that's why they're slapping, stabbing, and killing each other in schools. That's why they're twerking in schools. That's why they're doing whatever they want to do in schools. There's no respect. I also love that in South Korea, just like in South Africa, they wear school uniform. When kids wear uniform, there's so much more discipline as well among them. The system is very similar to this. It's like basically moving to South Korea is going to be like moving to South Africa back when I was growing up. Literally, it's like, you know how I'm nostalgic and so much pain, how in so much pain I am in about South Africa and how the country has fallen. It's lost its original thing that it used to have, its je ne sais quoi that I grew up looking at. Moving to South Korea is going to be like me going back to 1994 in this country. It's going to be like me going back to 2001 in this country. Whatever South Africa has lost, South Korea still got it. Whatever South Africa has lost, South Korea has still got it. So it's going to make me nice and comfortable, though the culture will be different, though the people I like, I can't speak their language. However, I would not allow myself to be maintained in ignorance of the language. If I moved there successfully, I would actually try to learn the language so I could better communicate with them. So I would actually try to learn. I would not just be like, listen, I'm an English teacher and that's it. Like, yeah, most people understand hello, and most people understand number 5. So I'm just going to like rely on that. No, I would try to learn. I would actively actually try to learn. I might even in myself go on an online space to learn Korean from a tutor, and pay them to actually teach me the language, what have you. I would try to acclimate to the culture. I would try to make everything work. When I was at the training, I asked, what's the racism quota over there? Like, are there issues with racism? Do they look at black people like they stink or what? And apparently, allegedly, those who have been there, those that have visited the country, don't have experiences of having endured racism from the country. The only thing is that people are very curious when they see people of different nationalities. They like to poke and prod away at them. They sometimes even just touch you just to see what's going on with you, in a way that you might consider to be disrespectful, but like largely it's just curiosity. And I'm tall, so like apparently Koreans are quite petite. Women in particular are quite tiny, so that I might just stand out for those reasons. But like proper, it's okay, I don't care. Insofar, curiosity is not exactly disrespect, and curiosity is not exactly racism. Curiosity is just that, curiosity. And if you're curious and are intrigued, I'll humor you insofar as you don't make out of me like a little, circus animal. Then we'll be cool. But apparently it's livable, and apparently there's quite a few black people there that are able to live and be content and be cool. And for me, the thing that I'm gunning for there is really just fellowship. I want a church where I can have brethren again. And I never fathomed that my brethren would all be Korean, because I never thought that I would move to Korea. But really and truly, our brethren across the world are all different kinds of nationalities, ethnicities, and what have you. So really, that's not even a thing. The first thing that I would try to look for in South Korea when I get there would be a church. No, I wouldn't look for a church. I would, but at the same time, I'm gonna go to a church, and what are they gonna teach? Like, they're gonna teach in Korean. I can only ever get my instruction online. But once I know the language, I would try and find a church. I would. It would be like, listen, I don't think there would be any church there that is teaching in English. I don't think there would be a church there that is teaching in English, but I would certainly try to seek out Christians if I can find them. And if there's one that like speaks my English, listen, I think I would latch on to them for dear life like Velcro on a surface. Yeah, will. I don't know. But thoroughly, I'm excited. Is what I'm getting at. When God showed me soul, after ke enrollwa in this course, I was like, I'm actually moving. Because I wanted to apply online, to teach English online from here in these streets of South Africa. And God was like, no, my baby, you're going to Seoul. You're moving. That's am I. And I'm pretty sure that the country that I'm moving to first is Seoul, South Korea. Because God showed me. And not only did God show me now, but years ago, those Asians I saw, they were Korean. They must have been. There were a whole bunch of them in my dreams. And I didn't understand, why am I seeing so many Asians in my dream? And they were all in the capacity. They were kind. They were nice to me. And they were looking at all the activity that I was enduring at the hands of my South Africans with confusion. I couldn't understand why and I stopped dreaming about a whole bunch of Asian people in my dreams once I was entered into persecution. And now, a couple of days ago, when I got that dream with the billboard and was doing souls, it dawned on me that, oh, that's what God was showing me. It dawned on me that, oh, that is what the Lord was showing me. So, nyahamba, y'all. And where am I going? South Korea. Initially, it's going to be quite a teething phase. I'm going through a lot. And when I'm in public spaces, all the energy of all the crap in this country just wears me out until I feel like I need to take a shower. I don't think that I'm going to endure a similar issue when I've moved to a new territory. I believe that God is going to show me just how bad things were in this country when I essentially get out of a certain time zone, and all of a sudden the perpetual attrition on my body, the heaviness that I'm always feeling, will lift in a way that'll make me feel surprisingly really good. Surprisingly really good. And that'll confirm to me that there are entities lodged over your nation that are getting disarrayed by simply praising and worshiping. And given that there's so few people here that are truly born again, the 1 or 2 or 3 10 saints that are always giving these entities a run for their money are being bombarded, they're being harassed, they're being attacked, they're being barraged, they're being ambushed, and frankly, our lives are near and impossible. That's why God compares my survival of what you're doing to me like surviving the Holocaust. It's just like a death experiment. It's genocide. It's a Holocaust. And when we finally escape and get out, the reprieve we're going to feel is going to be otherworldly and, quite frankly, astronomical. So with this then thing that has happened, when my family has repented, my mother not only paid for my whole course, but this here thing of like biting, clutching her purse and refusing me resources, money, to a point where I have to use shampoo to wash my face because I ran out of face wash, to a point where I would have to scrape around for grandpa when I have a headache. That happened for 4 whole months, y'all. 4 months where I was just robbed of resources with a woman looking at me like, and in just a week, not only have I been enrolled and registered to study a TEFL course, my family is actively invested in helping me once I qualify and once I essentially succeed to get a job, to get my passport, pay for my visa, all that which I need to go, and the ascertainment of my safety when I'm overseas. They're full on invested in that. This is a massive miracle, is what you must understand, because these are people that for the past 11 years going on 12 have been aloof and standoffish and unsupportive of all that which I am. One time my mom said, "Hey, Tamaya Garabo, and go where you belong." She literally said, go where you belong, because she thoroughly understands that I no longer belong in South Africa. All this time she's been holding me back, all this time, and now she's prepared to let me go, and she is supportive. She not only paid for my whole course, they're gonna help me along with the whole process, but there's also now money in my account. Elora, I have gone through months with not even a single cent, money of which is going to enable me to get all the things that I have needed that I have not had all so far. Abantu baripentile, umthandazo uyasebenza. Prayer works, but the thing about it is that perseverance is a thing, endurance is a thing. He who endures to the end will be saved. Not only prayer, but praise and worship. The combo: prayer, praise and worship, and testimony. We overcome the devil by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony. I got up for 4 months. I've been praying for 11 years going on 12. Listen, I've been praying since I was born again, but this year war, I've been in it for 11 years going on 12. That is sitting on my chest like a millstone. The thing that is really just kind of young ravasa right now, that has done this to me, that has afflicted me in this fashion. All those things. These spells that have put me at this here precipice of so much death. That, my dear darlings, is something pretty much end of December. And for the past 4 months, January, February, March, April, I've been going through hell, but it's gone. It's lifted. I am no longer in attrition. I am no longer going through hell. I am no longer with not even a single cent in my account. I survived. I made it past the threshold. I made it past the point of no return for my family. I made it past my mom's incendiary crazy. I made it past my sister's incendiary crazy. I made it past your attack of my family. I made it past it. And now I've got a family that recognizes that they can't hold me forever. This is uncouth. You essentially reached them to a breaking point. They were already insane. But if y'all did not afflict me this horrifically and cause my mother to essentially stand around looking like Rosemary Ndlovu trying to take out an insurance policy on the life of her own child, unless you got my mom to that level of wickedness, unless you hadn't gotten her there, she wouldn't have realized that, wait again, let this child, let this woman, let this woman go where she belongs. Different. And it looks like South Africa has some molekana, like a very tight gene. And a molekana when she was a teenager, and now she's all grown up and fat. Let this chick go where it is that a gene fits. Because South Africa no longer fits her. My mother finally got to a conclusion that South Africa South Africa so this year is an opportunity for you to go overseas, go where you belong. Imagine now when I've got the blessing now of my mom and I don't leave here jet fuel from my shoes, my sneakers, jet fuel, the way ke tswa mo ke mathagateng mara ke tsamaya ha monate ke drive wa airport teng ke batho ba go heso ke see you are off ke jwa bye bye. When I am in the departures lane about to like board a flight, if I leave like that, baby, then understand throughout the flight I'm gonna be cool and cucumbers. When I get there, I'm gonna be cool and cucumbers, and I will never ever be in so much danger overseas all alone, having run away from my family, that if anything should happen to me, that I wouldn't have a way out. I will always have an escape route, essentially a family that I've always had. Mara, this here little animal called Dumi, him and men like these, they need you to be alone with no family, that they might be your only source of escape. It's the kind of men that I've been lamenting about. And South Africa is just teeming at the folds with them, and they're chilling in lobbies at hotels like Sunday, at hotels like the Southern Sun. Beautiful spaces do they frequent? To a point where umzalwane can't hang over there, can't hang out, can't chill, can't be relaxed. That is this country. Now, in terms of the salaries over there, ain't nobody ought to be trying to tell you how much I'm going to be earning, but it's healthy. It's healthy. It's a life that makes sense for a woman my age. And it's another country. It's the diaspora. It's an opportunity that's going to open amanya masango and afuti. I'm not going there to merely be a teacher, though that was not my original chosen profession. It was chosen for me by God, because remember in my last video I asked God. I told you guys that I asked God when I first came to the Lord, that God help me work a job that I really love, that I might not have to work a day in my life. I never would have chosen teaching in this country, though at some point I did want to lecture, but I could never have taught, especially not children, because there is no respect for teachers in this country. It's not a profession that I would have ever gunned for in South Africa, but in Asian countries, it's among the most respectable professions there, and also among the most well paid. It's like nursing as well. In South Africa, it's not respected, so people don't pursue it easily. But in other nations, nurses are hotly sought after, and they are among the most respectable professions in that nation, and also are very well paying. But in this country, about the ones go Helen Joseph, about the ones go Para. They don't get much, and if they knew how much their skills retail for, they also, just like me, would go to the diaspora. That's why South Africa is basically bleeding skills. Nurses are realizing in this country that they're unappreciated in a way that other countries don't view them in this shoddy light. Other nations don't look at nurses like they ain't jack, but we do. And other countries don't look at teachers like they ain't jack, but we do. Heck, we've got teachers out here navigating cars out of a parking lot. There are nations that, insofar as you speak English, and if you have a degree, more so, are we trying to bring you into our country that you might teach our people English, and yet there are people out navigating cars out of parking lots with teaching degrees when there's such a skills lack in foreign countries for the same skills. The nation has made sure that our teachers are not respected, the Department of Education has made kids disrespect them, and they also are underpaid. And those who don't ultimately transition over to corporate South Africa in order to become trainers are just stuck in this profession that treats them like they ain't jack, and then they barely ever get anything that makes any kind of sense when they do finally retire. They barely ever get any lifestyle sense when they do finally retire. But if you were to look at people in a similar profession in other countries, they're not dealing with the same issues as what's going on in South Africa. This nation could have been far better, but it just isn't. And we've got such a diversified culture with so many different languages and such a clean English that, frankly, we've got among the best skills in the world for certain professions. And yet look at how our own government is treating us like we ain't jack. Look at how our own government is treating us as South Africans like we ain't jack. How are you gonna go grab a woman like me and make sure that she has nothing to do and goes nowhere? You literally kicked me out of the country. You do realize that, right, South Africa? Keep on losing your best then. Keep on losing them. And keep on imagining that nobody's gonna want them when we are this hugely sought after. For the life of me, I am shocked as to how many people are able to access the diaspora so easily as through a 168-hour course on the internet and a 10-hour practical. How that, without a degree, can get a person to leave South Africa? I can't believe it. I would have done it long ago. And mind you, more so are you better off if you have actual experience, not just in any profession but in teaching. And I've told you before that I've been a trainer. So yeah, I'm going to work in another country, and when I get there, then of course politically everything else is going to work out for me. Just in terms of the deep state, everything else is going to work out for me. I'm gonna open a YouTube channel, start one from South Korea, and realize that there's nobody sitting on my chest trying to ask. You can only afflict me, South Africans, from within your borders. You cannot afflict me from another nation. So this very same ministry in South Korea would probably be left to thrive, especially considering I'm speaking in English, first of all, largely. Every so often I speak in my own languages, and the South Korean government, the things that I speak are largely not even going to be concerning what's going on in South Korea, but probably still the hard cry of South Africa, or just the world at large, and the issues that Christendom laments against in the world. I told you, in South Korea are just like another day in the park. The LGBTQIA agenda is also frowned upon there, just generally by the society. Feminism, the watering down of the nuclear family, the disrespect of the patriarchy, like just all these Christian things that we are fighting